All right, welcome everybody to the Thursday Night Forum. You're all welcome here. Pull up a chair, Arsenal fan circle here. I got Stan joining me and Gary. Welcome, gents.
Good evening.
Hello,
All
hello.
right, all right. Yeah, listen, you're going to be in and out a little bit. Stan's got about an hour. Gary might have to pop off a little bit as well. So we'll see how we go on this one. Um, three competitions we're heading into now. Carabao Cup and the league, and next week will be the Champions League. So we're fighting off four fronts. Then
And we should be. You know, this
we're
is
the
where
Arsenal.
this is where we're supposed to be, right? And there's been a lot of chatter, hasn't there, about the Carabao Cup and who should be in it and who should be fielding. With these, we should be fielding a strong team or giving it as an opportunity to younger players or second stringers to get minutes. But for me, there's only 4 cups that are available. And if I'm, as an Arsenal supporter, if the FA Cup and the League and the Champions League are unavailable for whatever reason, then I'll take the Carabao Cup if that's what's going. You know, that's what
Yeah.
that's what we're playing for. And there's only four opportunities to actually win something tangible in the season. So I'll take whichever one I can get. Obviously, there's preferences, but
Take each game as it comes, and if the team that you pick are stepping forward, Gary, and getting the results, then that's really good as well.
Yes, you take
You know,
whatever. Yeah, for sure,
we put
for sure.
together a team yesterday. We've got a few injuries going around, Gary, and we put together a team yesterday. I was able to go to Brentford, and I think Brentford are unbeaten in 18 games at home.
Yep, yep.
So
Yes, we got injuries, and yes, we got play. Those players, also have been a lot of them have been with the team, so to some degree they know each other a little bit, right? I mean, this isn't like the first time they've played together. So there are a few that haven't, but I mean, I think you know there was a decent amount for me that been on the squad. If you look at the players that all played, right? Let's see who we had here, but yeah, I mean they're all been up with this team for a while.
decent
Reese
back four.
Nelson, yeah, yeah, the back four is as solid as going to get when you go to the bench. Uh, Midfield, I mean, we've got good players in every level to some degree. Some that we needed to see play. I mean, Reese Nelson and the Middlesbrough row, we needed to see them play. Jorginho needed to redeem himself, so at least three of the top, the front, the players in front of that back line were worthy of, we're going to show us something because they have on most days. So yeah, I it's good to see that we can go with almost a full. I guess it's almost a full bench, right? Except for essentially two players. If you think
Yeah,
about it, there's only like two
yeah.
players, Gabriel and Benjamin White, that are truly one of our first 11, right? And and we can get something out of it.
And
Defensively, we're always solid, right? So we'll take
yeah.
that. Yeah.
it was good to see our backup goalkeeper get a game as well.
Oi, 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 oi. Yeah,
Yeah.
but Stan, it was good. We had we can flex our muscle a little bit in this competition because, as Gary's alluded to, the strength of our squad is getting better and better with every window.
Yeah, we know all of the players that played. They just were players that needed more minutes. Apart from the young lad that we played, what's his name, Charles
I go,
Sago Jr.
yeah,
The only sort of was basically the only new face, so it wasn't. It shouldn't have been too disjointed. But I'm pleased that those players that we call backups, if you like, that they were able to figure it out and get the job done. So many times, isn't there, when we've tried to fill the team of maybe what you would call our weakened players or our second stringers,
hmm
either don't make it or we basically have to like put everybody on from the first team in the dying minutes to try and claw something out of it. So it was good to see them actually come away with a reward for their work. I mean, I didn't actually get an opportunity to watch this one. I was at work, so
hmm
I was listening to it on the radio, so I could kind of hear what was going on, but I didn't actually see didn't see too much. We didn't see anything.
I watched the first half, which is there was
Same.
there's other things that went on in the second half. But the first half, to me, it looked good for those players that were out there. And as you said, Arteta needs to get them minutes, and it can't just be, well, we'll wait till the cup. And I've been saying that since day one of the season. These guys need to play, and it can't be in a pinch when we need to, like now, right? They need to be part of the squad, come in out of the game just like everybody else, give them some minutes, and eventually you're going to ask them to start in a Premier League match. You're going to ask them to start in a Champions League match.
Yep.
And you can't be like, and then when we look at them, we're like, well, they don't look like they've been part of this squad. And it's true. Arteta seems to think teams are made up of like 11 players, 12 players sometimes. It's like, no, you got to go deeper than that. You got to have a solid, we know 15, 16 seems to be the number, but we've got probably more than that because the levels after our first, 11, 12 players is close. So they should all get minutes because we're going to depend on them at some point.
Yeah.
So, like we know Reece Nelson and Emilsworth Rowe. Emilsworth Rowe's already got a resume with 10 goals in a Premier League season. Who else has that?
Proven. Yeah, proven.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
he's
I would
the only one. Yeah, go ahead.
love to see Emile Smith Rowe come back to where he was 2 seasons ago as well. I think I heard somewhere it's been close to 500 days since he's played or started for Arsenal. Started a game for Arsenal. So Emile Smith Rowe coming back. Eddie Nketiah continuing to play. That's fine. Reece Nelson taking a really good chance when it presented to him as well, and showing that he can be relied upon. Jorginho needed that game after last Sunday, whenever it was, and either side of him, Havertz continues to play and get minutes in his legs, and I'd like to say he's getting a little just incrementally closer, in his performance, but we'll veer away from that, Gary. We don't need to linger on Havertz. Who was the other?
There's nothing you saw from the game where you went, oh, it looks much better than what I saw the last time he went out there.
Not much better. Increments.
The only way you're gonna say something looked better is if he contributes to a goal with an assist, or he actually scores one, because that's what he needs to do.
Barometer.
We talk about this all the time. I don't care if my fullback can move up the pitch and make really, line splitting passes, but if he can't defend, it doesn't help me, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if we're going to take an attacking 8 and put them up there, and all we're going to talk about is their defensive skills that they're doing and how much space they cover, and we're not even talking about goal creations and all that kind of stuff, it's no different.
Yeah.
So until he does that, this was supposed to be a game where he should be able to, talent-wise, outshine the players. Brentford, I think they were starting, their starters, but still.
Yeah, listen, that was a good Brentford side that they put out, almost a full strength team for them, and we had, as Stan said, Aaron Ramsdale, some first, second, or whatever he is, goalkeeper. Ben White playing on the right, Tomiyasu playing inside of him, Gabriel holding everything together, and Kivior, who had quite a good game as well. So Big's going to say good evening, everybody. Tiger and Gooner is here. Welcome, people, as you file in. Chaps in chat room from my iconoclast. Kivior played well, said BX Gunner. One of those unsung heroes who's starting to put in some consistent performances for us. Emile Smith Rowe.
On this point, because this has come up multiple times, I was listening to the Gunner talk with Tom Canton, and he actually thought the same thing until he looked at the numbers. The numbers aren't any different than when we have our starters in there. The passes to that right wing, it's no different. So everybody said the youngster didn't get many passes. Saka gets a similar number. So it's not So it's not like the numbers don't show it as an issue. It's just kind of how we work. So I mean, he did get some touches. He looked, as some people said, he looked like he, a little bit uncomfortable out there. But it's
sure.
What if Nweri, if Nathan Nweri got start in a game with Arsenal, he would probably look the same way, just trying to figure things out.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
I find it weird that this guy gets a full 90, gets almost 90 minutes, and other youngsters we have are just getting minutes at the end of games. I understand it's because of injuries and whatnot, but those are talented players we have also. Probably
Very
deserve
surprising.
more, to get more minutes. I think they were saying that maybe Nathan would have played, but I think he's
Yeah.
injured, and so
Another
missed
one
out.
could have been Cozier Dubry as well. So Sago Jr. was a strange one for me as well coming in, and Mikel Arteta is prone to do something like that. Throw a player in. We've never heard of him, or very few of us have heard of him. You know what I mean? Emil Smith Rowe coming back was great, but him and White did nothing to bring that youngster into the game, and that's going to be a player who comes into a dressing room. He's looking at these players. He's probably watching them every week, and but Stan Elneny coming on and showed a little bit more than Havertz, and we know Elneny. We know what he can do for us. He's always steady. He's always solid.
So you don't want to talk about Kai Havertz then?
I don't. I mean, we can.
No, I was
We've
really looking
done
forward
that.
to kicking the shit out of him, but if you're not doing that this week,
Well, I was nodding my head the whole time he was trying to say something positive about him, and you were doing your hair. So
I mean, there's so many other things we could talk about, but Kai Havertz.
Why do we always have to have that one player that splits? You know what I mean? That causes the arguments between.
Always going to be a player. Yeah,
there's always one in there between us fans.
Yeah.
If it's not Ozil, it's a player on the left, and if it ain't that, it's Xhaka, and now it seems to be Kai Havertz, and it's funny when I watch. I love or whatever you call it, and you have those people that just are not impressed with him, and they just think he's a bit shit. They've not seen anything that pleases them, but it's the other ones that will just blindly not hear anything bad about Arsenal, our players, the way that club is run. They won't hear any kind of critique at all. And I used to be like that myself, but I was like, I don't know, 12 years old at the time when I used to be like that. But the ones where they try to put the numbers together and try to convince you that what Havertz is doing, he's doing the right things and stuff like that. Personally, I remember me and you said, Ray, that we were going to give it 10 games before we would sort of like give a bit of a judgment on what we felt he was bringing to the team. Well, I'm ready to go now. I mean, I don't even know if I want to watch. There's 3 more games to go before we get to 10. I don't know if I can even bear watching him in those next 3 games.
League. Yeah.
Because for me, it just does not seem to be working in any shape or form. He seems just like a warm body out there building up so that we don't have to play 10 players. We can actually play with 11. And I don't know how long we have to give this guy. I mean, how long do we have to how long are we supposed to give this guy before we can, if he scores 1 goal in the next game, has he turned a corner? Because then you got to see what happens in the game after that, right? Is he going to maintain doing a good thing, or will it just be like 1 goal and then back to like nothing for like 6-7 games? And I'm not saying that his whole game or the judgment should be purely based around goals and assists, but it just doesn't. I just don't understand what his role is or what he's supposed to be doing. And I think there's other players that we have that should be given more of an opportunity, and he should be coming off the bench and taking opportunities from the bench now. If he can come off the bench and do something that catches the eye, then he can earn a starting place back. But I just think there are other people in the team that are probably more capable at the moment. Whether that's Teabag, ESR, even moving Zinchenko in there. There's other options that I feel that we could be doing. So I really don't want this to hurt our season. This move that we've done here,
drag on and be a thing.
People keep saying, he doesn't. I was reading on X yesterday when I was listening to the game. He looks like he doesn't have any confidence. I mean, what does that mean? Exactly. He's been playing football at the highest level for how many years now? He's getting paid handsomely. The manager is showing a lot of confidence in him because he fields him quite frequently. I mean, what?
He's got to make it work.
What more does he need?
Yeah.
Does he need to be sung lullabies before he goes to sleep at night? I mean, you know, everything is laid on for you at Arsenal.
Yeah.
You don't have to want for nothing. It's all laid on. So he should be feeling very comfortable. And this is a guy that's been playing football internationally at the highest levels for many years. And I'm just worried that he's forgotten how to play properly, because I don't see him getting anywhere nearer to the form that we heard about when he was at Bayer Leverkusen in Germany.
Yeah.
You know, so
and we
it's
have
concerning.
a former,
It's concerning, and I don't like it. It's an unwanted distraction that I don't like. We don't need.
we have a former Arsenal player who's now at Bayer Leverkusen, and some would say maybe we're still trying to find the successor to that player in that position in the left 8. It could well be when Partey's fit and Rice is fit, that's your first choice midfield alongside Odegaard, you know.
Partey was fit.
Yeah, but when he's fit again.
Again,
I'll
so
right back.
we gotta push it out, right?
Our right back you're talking about now.
Yeah.
No. That is our first choice midfield. Partey, Rice, and Odegaard.
Obviously not, because we haven't seen it, and we may not see it.
We may not see it.
Havertz has more minutes than Trossard and Jesus. He has like 100 and plus minutes more than they do.
Yeah.
Trossard's been healthy this whole time, so that's not an issue. Jesus has just got back, but they've got 2 goals. He's got over 350 minutes. They've got combined just over.
They've
200.
got 3 goals combined. Yeah.
Well, I'm talking about in the league.
In the league, right?
In the league. I believe in the league is so yeah. So that's what we're talking about. And you talk about Havertz, but we can get into this as well, because I think we've got 2 this season, because I believe Nketiah could be up there as well as a player that every time we see him, like, for me anyways, I'm like,
doesn't look good.
He's not doing it for me either.
Good shout, Gary.
Huh?
Good shout.
Yeah, no,
it's a pair of them are the weakest link.
Warm bodies.
Yeah, yes, he's given us goals in Nketiah, but like, now this is what happens. We get like a little sprinkling of like a little tease of what could be, and then it just disappears. Like it's gone. Like he doesn't give us anything
like
more
ether
than the goals that he gives us when we do get him. And then like that's, for me, he can't play. It can't be hot and cold. You know what I mean? On a bad day, you got to say he's giving me something else. Like Havertz is giving us nothing except for some defensive stability, somewhat, they say, but even that doesn't show up, because if you look at the United game, you're like, well, that wasn't really good, was it? What he gave away the ball there,
yeah.
So he didn't give us security there. So it's yeah, we got rid of Xhaka, and then we doubled down on players that were all sitting there going, they don't need to play. We have answers. We still have answers even now. Even with all the injuries, you can put somebody else in there. I mean, I'd rather have Havertz play in that middle, in that 9 right now. You know what I mean? Because it'll be close to the goal, and maybe when the crosses come in, the tall guy, it'll hit off of him to some degree. You know what I mean? There's a more better chance of that happening, and he does defend, so we know he'll do that as well. We just need him to score to add to that. But yeah, no, Havertz, as I've already said, he doesn't have to be good now, because he's coming from a really dark place, and now he just think about this. He went to a team that just finished second and has aspirations of competing on 4 fronts.
So why is he still playing like he's at Chelsea?
Because the light is on. The light is on. Now, he's playing in the dark last year, right? When Chelsea was struggling all season, the lights are dimmed, right?
He was still their top goal scorer last season for Chelsea.
Right now,
7 goals.
Sorry,
he was their top goal scorer last season. Not saying much. Chelsea 7 goals.
We took Brighton's top scorer.
34 games.
There's a big difference between the 2 of them, right?
Yeah.
No, but he's in the limelight now. There's a big spotlight on Arsenal. You know, anything that negative happens to City, it's like, well, Arsenal's. This is your Carabao Cup to win now. You're second best here.
Excuse me.
Liverpool.
Are we the favorites now?
I've heard like people say, the next best team is Arsenal.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I
So
would agree with that.
so
Take on that
we
mantle,
should
right?
be. I mean, yes, we are. We have injuries, but I think everybody's going through injuries. I mean, right now, sit down two of the top players in the world, much less two of the top players on their team. They
Yeah,
have two players out for at least through, when they play us.
yeah,
So, that's gonna. It's you got to take advantage of that, and we have winnable games up until the City match. So we should
100%.
continue to win. We have to win. We have to win
Saturday.
Bournemouth. We have to win
Mhm.
on Wednesday. We need to go in with a 3-game winning streak.
Well, here's the thing. As from my understanding, is some of these injuries are going to clear up. Declan Rice, Partey, Martinelli, Saka, Trossard. I'm not saying all five of these will be fit by the time we come to play City, but we
Yeah,
need to put a plan together now for players coming back. Maybe not on Saturday, but against Lons on Wednesday, so
yeah,
that these players that would play against Man City get some minutes in their legs and be fit again. A Declan Rice, maybe a Martinelli if he's fit. Definitely, Bukayo Saka should be back by then. You know, who knows? But we need to be gearing up in a fashion that we're going to be ready for Man City.
yeah.
And as you said, Man City will have two players. One will be suspended and one will be injured in their midfield that they're definitely going to miss in Kevin De Bruyne and Rodri. And
Yeah.
it's so important because we've dropped 4 points in the league already, playing at home as well, you know, and it's so important to it was a must-win game before all of this happened. Now it's definitely going to be a must-win game if a not lose game against City. Although
No,
you're
it's
going to
got
hate
it's
me
it's
saying that.
it's got to be a win
Yeah,
because you're not going to get probably another chance to play them without De Bruyne and Rodri. So
yeah,
if there's a better chance out there, that means we're Timber's back and we're playing. We're running, running away with things. But we need to take advantage of when the teams are down because that's what they're doing when we are a player down here. You
mm,
know, so that's basically how the second half kind of played out. Right, we're down one of our better best midfielders at the time, and they take advantage of that.
Steven
So
said
yeah,
Havertz was not great, and between him and chasing Mudrick, my faith in Edu and Arteta has taken a beating. I mean, it was just with Havertz. I mean, we've recruited reasonably well around those players.
but we always take a big chance, and Havertz was an easy one not to have to go for.
Yeah,
We did we did
Madison was there.
we didn't need to do. I mean, there's Madison, there's Kudus, there's all these players that are coming in that are playing well, and we chose to go with the player with the least amount of potential, and since because of the history. Yeah, we can't go. Everybody, all we talk about
Pay
is
top
3 years
dollar
ago.
for it.
3 years ago, we talk about. That's all we can talk about is go back and look at what happened 3 years ago. That's
Yeah,
a long
Pepe.
time, right? 3 years ago, Casado was where? 3 years ago, Cucurella was where? 3 years ago, you name all these players, they just weren't. Their names weren't as big as they are now, right?
Yeah.
I think Mudrick was still at school 3 years ago.
Yeah, I mean, you know what I mean. Like 3 years is a lot. It was when he was good, and all these players were, like you said, probably weren't even playing first team football, and some of them are here and they're continuing to play. You know, so I
Right.
I think it was the biggest risk he took, and it was not necessary, and yeah, he has to just sit and be part of a squad and comment. Like if you're going to He's not playing anywhere close to like Emil Smith Rowe could play terrible and look much better than that. And he's not even doing that. He's not even giving an Emil Smith Rowe chances, and we know he can play. Reese Nelson wants to be out there, not getting minutes, and they're watching this player that's worth 3, 4 times as much as them go out there and stink up the place. All
Hmm.
right. I mean, look at you saw it in the cup match. Reese Nelson was out. They're out there playing. You know, so he
Yep.
scores. He almost scores the second goal. You know what I mean? It's and Havertz what another missed opportunity, and he's scared out there. He needs to. This reminds me of was it Thunder Road when he blows the engine and they're like, he doesn't want to be in that car. You know what I mean? He does not want to be on that field the way he's playing, and he needs to just. We just need to get him
Protect.
back into practicing very, very well.
Yeah.
Not practicing well, practicing very well. Where you're like, we could not stop him today. He kept scoring every time we touched the ball, and then
Yeah.
give him minutes in
I think
games, and then get him back to a rotation and stuff like that.
I think we're getting to a situation where Fabio Vieira, Teabag, is progressing nicely. His performances are in some ways overcoming Harvard's performances. Emil Smith Rowe played well yesterday in the Carabao Cup and is probably going to get more minutes on Saturday and Wednesday. So he may progress to where Havertz has more competition as well. BX says until Havertz shows some drive and hunger, he won't fit in. Ozil, Pepe, Oba, all over. It's looking like again. I think yeah.
Pepe scores. Pepe
Pepe looked
scores.
Pepe looked better
Like
than Havertz.
everybody brings up the Pepe thing, but you put Pepe on the field for 90 minutes, he's going to score or get an assist. It's pretty much guaranteed. That's how he worked. You might get nothing for 89 minutes, but he'll give you that opportunity, and usually
Yeah.
it comes out, you know. So, and then, as we said, Pepe scored more goals than a lot of like multiple players worth as much as him. So
We're
as
gonna
bad as
move.
he was for us, he's not as bad as what we've
Yeah.
seen and what we've got right now.
So we're gonna move off Kai a little bit, unless Stan has anything to come back with. We don't have that same chemistry we had last season. Says BX. We based on the numbers, we're worse than last season. Yeah, and I think we're trying to adapt to some of the players that we don't have in midfield, especially.
I'm gonna say that's not true. I think he's trying to figure out he's trying to figure out if he has how full of a squad does he have, but he's not giving all the players enough chances.
Yeah, I mean he's fitting some parts in here and there. Tomiyasu played right center back last night when Ben White could have done that, and Tomiyasu could have played a more familiar right back position. Kivior is getting more minutes on the left. Yeah, listen, I understand what you're saying. He's trying players in different positions to almost flex his muscles a little bit, Gary, because he knows now he's got a pretty darn good squad that he can maybe go to Brentford, which is an intimidating place to go to, and come away with a win while trying some things out. Fair. I think we're also trying to find our way with Partey and Xhaka in midfield as well. A little bit.
I mean, as much as people talk, we are down two left wings, and we're down two number sixes until Rice comes back.
Yeah.
Not too many teams have third options off the bench in those positions and getting it done. Actually, nobody's doing that because nobody's doing that.
And if this is as bad as it gets this season, and this is our, injury fallow period, and we can pick up from here, then we're going to have a very successful season, I think. Carabao Cup, Gary. So we progress. Let's talk about Reece Nelson. He took that goal really well. It was slightly deflected to him. He controlled it quickly and slotted away in the corner.
Yes, and it's funny. What's interesting about it is I talk about Nketiah, and he's the one that makes the interception. I think it was more the case of they didn't even realize he was there when they made that pass because he's behind the defender at that point. And the pass,
like the Tottenham game.
Pass just came to him, and he made what I find interesting. He did not want to take that shot. And it looked like he could have taken it. I don't know if he's good on the left or not, but he makes a really nice pass to
Reece,
which almost gets intercepted. Right?
Yeah.
Reece is able to put a nice shot in afterwards. But yeah, no, it's crazy that we only scored the one goal, but we've been saying it all season.
Doing that, we've been doing that a lot.
We just like every time you look, you're like, okay, but we left so many goals on the table, which is good. But at some point, we're not going to hit any goals, and that's going to be a problem. So
I saw a really good tweet about an hour ago, Stan. Somebody said, we're much better away from home because the players don't deal with the emotion of the stadium and the home fans. And we've won now 3 games away from home, 1-0 against Brentford, Crystal Palace, and forget the other team right now. It's on the tip of my tongue probably. But yeah, we won 3 games away from home now. You take Everton at Goodison Park, 1-0. All 1-0 wins. Clean sheets.
We were
No
like that
drama.
last season, weren't we? We had some really good stats for
Yeah.
being on the road. I think that's first or second best team, right?
Yeah, it's continuing.
Best team. So
Well, we were first probably till the end, and then City probably usurped us.
so what did you say? The tweet said that we don't
The
handle
emotion of the home fans, the players are getting caught
well,
up
they're
in the
going to have to get
emotion.
used to it. What are we going to do? Not let anyone in? That's ridiculous. They're in the wrong job then.
What's crazy is Arteta asked for this. This is what he actually wanted. Like when he came in, right? He said this is what he wants. He wants to
Bring the emotion.
basically bring back the fans and all of that. So he brings them back, and then for some reason he can't get his team up to play in front of their own squad and their own fans. Makes no sense. I have a feeling he's doing too much. Like once again, Arteta's doing too much talking about this and that. Just let these guys go out there and play some football. I think they're thinking too much. This is a game for you do all the practice during the week and you let these guys go out there and perform. I think it should be much more fun to play at home, right? It can't. Why if it's more stressful
It's
at home,
a little bit expectation as well. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but how are we supposed to win? Because it was only a few seasons ago that people were saying that it was like a library at the Emirates. So we can't have it both ways.
Yeah.
Now there's an atmosphere and there's a song and everything like this. I don't like the song, but we've got a song and and it's a fortress, right? Which is what I thought was required instead of it being like a library. So now now that it's like that, that's too much. So
it's just a theory that someone had that I think there might be something in that. I also think we play a little bit too open and maybe expectation because we're now trying to be the team.
Isn't it a bit like being I'm an actor, but I also suffer from stage fright? I mean, then you're fucked, didn't you?
Yeah, not going to work. It's not going to work at all. But yeah, I mean, we're trying to. Liverpool are trying to chase City. We're trying to chase City. Yeah, but maybe we're suffering a little bit with the expectation. Now we all of us know as fans we have a good team that could push City. All going well. If everything fits into place, Eddie Nketiah scores 8 goals this season,
Our biggest problem, I think, if we're talking about why we can't maintain or keep up with City and maybe only can get as good as second place, I think it's quite simply down to our efficiency in front of goal. We create lots of chances. We went for a stage where we didn't create so many chances, and if there was a chance, you had to take it because they weren't coming along very too frequently. Yeah. Now we create chances. If you're creating 20 chances but only scoring 2 goals, that's not good efficiency. 20 chances. I think Jesus had something like, I don't think it was the last game. It might have been the one before.
6
chances, 1 goal.
PSV.
That's not efficient enough.
Yeah.
He needs 5 or 6 attempts to put one in the net. What if we can't provide that in one game? What if he only gets 3 attempts? Do you know what I mean? And that for me, it's the biggest problem is our efficiency in front of goal because we're creating.
You know what? This is another thing I'll tell you. As somebody was saying once again, I guess my friend Tom Canton, which player gets the most chances?
Hello.
Which player has the most chances? Most scoring chances in the league.
Haaland. There you go.
And which player has the most missed scoring chances in the league?
Erling.
Yeah. So Yeah, we're creating chances. We're not creating good chances, I think.
Yeah.
I think that's the thing. We are creating some chances, but not good chances and not enough.
I don't know,
Like
because,
you have to be think about it, you have to be at a Harlan level to do what he does. Our players getting even less chances. You're asking them to be more efficient than one of the top scorers in the league. I think it's asking the numbers don't match, right? So we just need more. We need better chances. I think personally, as I say all the time, our players are never ready to shoot. You see it in every game. They always want to take the extra touch. Their feet are never set. Just take the damn shot the first time, one touch. We never do that. We take an extra touch, even in the
Back to
box.
Bond.
Even in the box going towards the goal, we're taking a touch. No, put your foot through it. You know what I mean? If you
I just
watch Harlan, a lot of times he just takes the first touch and goes.
I just look at Eddie and Jesus, and I just have loads of these images of them in front of the goal in the penalty box area, and either heading it wide or kicking it just wide or
Blazing
kicking
over.
it over the bar. So they're getting good chances, and especially for somebody like Jesus who's doing everything else so well. He comes back into the midfield and he helps out. He's able to win balls. Sometimes you see him even helping out defensively. He's able to rotate with the guy on the left. He's able to get him behind. He's able to get into the penalty box with maybe three players around him, and somehow be able to wriggle his way out and pass the ball off to someone. If he could add 20 goals to that, that would be unreal, mate. His value would shoot up. That would be unreal. And I was trying to think about this problem, and I thought to myself, well, we seem to have a problem through the middle there with efficiency. And the other glaring problem is trying to replace Xhaka. Because in Xhaka, he was able to help out defensively because he has that part of his game. And he started to learn how to get himself into dangerous positions to create goals and score goals. And the most he had in the season for us.
Yeah.
So is there any credence to the thought that if we were to buy a striker that could be more efficient in front of goal, and I'll just pull a name out of the air, let's say Victor Osimhen, he seems like the next cab off the rank, reputation wise, and we put him in there, and in that left 8 position we put Jesus in there. I wonder what that would do, because he as he's shown us, he is able to come back and help out tackling wise or blocking off wise and to help in a defensive way. And as I just mentioned, he's able to wriggle himself around in the penalty box and get shots away, but maybe working alongside someone else, it would allow him not to have to score 20 goals, but he could be useful in much more other ways, working in tandem with someone like Osimhen who could lay off and do the finishing part. I don't know. What do you guys think about that? Basically, I'm saying moving Jesus into that area.
We know Gabriel Jesus will not be as efficient as an Osimhen, even an Ivan Toney. For me, Ivan Toney is much better than Gabriel Jesus in the striking position. Osimhen too. So yeah, I definitely take what you're saying. Tiger and Gunnar, what's the song you don't like, Stan? It's the Angels song. Just FYI.
No. I mean, I think it's once again, it's an easy answer. If we can play with Nketiah there, and you said no, you can replace with any striker who scored over 10 goals in a season in any league, we're going to be better off, right? And as many people have said, Jesus had some of his good days were on the left side or the right side when he played for City. So yeah, the coming into the middle, or he plays behind the striker, right? Yeah. And then you figure that out, right? So there's multiple ways to keep him engaged, and he'll get the same opportunities to score probably from that position. So we have answers if we decide to go and get that striker. I mean, for me, if Tony is the one they want to go for, that should be done already, because he's just practicing right now. Like, they know they can get him, and he can come in right away. There's none of this like questioning anything. We know he can play in the league, and you just move on. If Osimhen is an answer, it doesn't sound like it will be one in January. And
you never know. After there's a lot of stuff going on around him at the moment, and he wants to see the club.
Yeah,
Yep.
like it's half the, and it's going to take twice the money to do that. So I do you see Arsenal spending over 100 in back-to-back summer windows? You know what? You know what I mean? Do we expect? You know, that might be a hard one to
It would be a
swallow for
big
them.
ask. Yep.
But I mean, if they got, if they got, it sounds like a lot of money for what, a 28-year-old is that's what Tony is. I think he's 28, and Osman is in the low 20s, I think. So you get your money's worth whichever way you go. Either you get a player for 2 years who you're gonna just ask to score goals because you're gonna put him in that situation, and the crosses will come in and he'll be there for that. He will actually put pressure on the back line, right, from an attacking perspective.
Ivan
So
Tony would
so
yeah.
so so either way you go, I think either way you go, either it's a shorter term answer or a longer term, depending on how much you want to spend. But we need we need to do something up there because somebody said we want to get somebody who's better than Jesus, not better than Kedia, better than Jesus,
Yeah.
and then go from there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
'Cause
That was last
you
week, I
know,
think.
you know what I
Somebody
mean?
said it.
Yeah, no, it's
I kind of
something needs to be done, and we just need. I think once again, can we just play our best 11 players? And we're not seeing our best 11 players on the pitch. You know what I mean? And I mean like at some point, the way we've been going, Reece Nelson and Emil Rowe could be some of our top 11 based on what they could give to us, because we're not getting everything we want out of all 11 players. When's the last time you looked at a game and said all 11 players are giving us everything we want? We
and
don't
it's
see
been
it because it's
been a
either
little bit.
Nketiah or it's Jay's or it's Havertz on the field. So then you're always down a man in terms of what you think they're going to give to the team. So
Iconoclast one said here, Liverpool are the only genuine contenders to City. To be honest, Arsenal is still lacking an ingredient that will make us genuine contenders, in my opinion. I think Liverpool have the firepower, but I do think they're susceptible at the back, and I do think they've got a strong midfield, but not the strongest in the Premier League. I think we're pretty good at the back and pretty good in midfield when we have everybody on the field. Now, we won't score as many goals as Liverpool probably, but I think we're going to be pretty darn close to Liverpool and City, I believe. Anyway, that's my opinion.
you say that, but then we should be able to. If Jesus is healthier for most of the season, if Martinelli and Saka and Erdegaard continue
We know
what they
Martinelli
do,
and Saka
so
will,
those
Ødegaard will.
numbers will be close to what you're going to get probably out of a
Yeah.
Liverpool front four, 5, what do you want to call it?
And
So
remaining in this competition is Man United, and they're going to play Newcastle. Chelsea are in there. We're going to play West Ham away from home. I thought we'd get an easier tie, but if we get through West Ham, you should play one of the smaller teams then. But Liverpool are still in there. Brighton went out. Man City went out. And Aston Villa have gone out. So some of the big guns have fallen in this competition. So it's important to progress in this competition, I believe. And we're at a point, Stan, where we need to pick up a trophy or two of some kind this season.
Before I answer that, I'd like to have my say on Ivan Toney, if I may.
Yeah.
Because I've been thinking about it, and I think Ivan Toney and Ollie Watkins are very safe options, and I don't mean that in a positive way. Let's have a look at strikers and put them in tiers. So I would say that the top tier probably only has two in it. The top tier is probably like Haaland and Mbappe, right? That's probably, I'd call that tier A. There's really no one else you can put in there alongside them. They're in a tier of their own. So below that, right, you'd have tier B, and I would put a player like Osimhen in tier B.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe a Vlahovic. Strikers of that ilk. But I wouldn't put Ivan Toney in tier B, and I wouldn't put Gabriel Jesus in there either, because I think it's fair to say that, and I just use Osimhen as the leader of tier B. There's other players in there, but he, from looking at the stats and stuff, he's way ahead of a Jesus and Tiny of putting them in the back of the net. Is that fair to say? So
it is fair to say that my fear personally would be how how would he adapt to the Premier League?
Yeah, there's
And
always that. There is always that anomaly. So that's
Yeah.
2 tiers already, right? That's tier
Yeah.
A and tier B. Now we've got tier C. Who goes into tier C? Is that where Ivan Toney goes into? Is
Sure.
Gabriel Jesus in the same tier, would you say? Or is he in a tier below that? Because you said earlier you felt that Ivan Toney would be a better would be an improvement, and I think you was talking goal wise than Gabriel Jesus, which then tells
Definitely.
me that, in your opinion, maybe they're not in the same tier, right? So Ivan
No,
Toney's
I agree.
is a tier C player. Then does that mean that at the moment, playing through the middle for Arsenal, we've got a person that's playing in tier D? And my
Yeah, I mean,
argument
if
is,
Oh,
Izzy's
but
on,
you're asking different things of
but my
Jesus than
argument
you
is
would
right.
have. Yeah.
But my argument is right. If we have a player in tier D or tier C, right? Even if that's why are we shopping? Why do we want to shop in tier C when there's another 2 tiers? We ain't going to get anything out of the top one because there's only 2 players in the top one. We ain't getting either of them. So we should be. What the point I'm trying to make is we should be looking higher than Ivan Toney.
Yeah,
We
but
should be
who's
looking
out there?
We should be looking in that Osimhen tier.
Okay.
Who's out there? Whoever the money can move is out there. That's how money works.
I guess it's about cash. It's about how much you're willing to spend.
Yeah.
And then you have that variable of Osman transferring his Serie A goals
You know
into the
what?
Premier League.
I mean, if you can't figure out how to get him to play within, once again, this is the whole thing. This is why we thought Havertz coming in, he wouldn't have to
Be
do
careful
too much.
now. Vlahovic. What is Vlahovic doing?
This is what we thought coming into this season. If we put in a player who has more offensive talents and skills into our squad, and we put him in a Xhaka position, he would have fun. Right? That's what we said. And I expected that as well. Any player with more offensive skills would play much better in the way we were playing. We haven't looked anything like we wanted to. Havertz isn't doing anything of note in terms of scoring. But as I said, he's not. I don't think he's not at a level of Tony. He's definitely not at a level of Osimhen. Either one of them would come in, and I would expect them to have at least a goal. I expect to have multiple goals by now. If they were playing for Arsenal in the first 8 games of the or 6 games, was it 8 games we played so far now? 8 games, right? So I would expect that from those level of players.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this then, right? Yeah. If you could only start Jesus or Ivan Toney, who would you prefer to start?
Ivan Toney.
Really? Okay. Gary?
Yeah, as a striker, yeah.
Okay. What about
Jesus always goes out right or left, pick a side, put him behind whatever, but he starts as well.
What about if the choice is between Ivan Toney and Osimhen? Then what would you choose?
Take an Osimhen. It's not even. Why are we even?
And what I'm saying is, right, is that we need to. I would prefer us to have a striker that comes from that ilk of that quality that we're talking about, Osimhen. All right. Obviously, we've got to find the right fit. There's certain things that we're going to need to do, but of that quality. And then as the backup, I would rather have someone like a Toney of that quality to be the backup. It doesn't mean that Gabriel Jesus has to even leave, but there's other areas that he could play. It means that Eddie has to leave, obviously.
Yeah.
But the point I'm trying to make is that I think there's a higher. We could go higher than Toney. Toney should not be the ceiling because there are tiers. There are tiers above that, and the better the tier, the better the quality. And I don't think as well if Brentford are going to want something like 75 million, no way. There is no way I think that he's worth that.
I will say, Stan, that Osimhen is with a pretty decent side right now in Napoli, right, playing good football. I would say Ivan Toney going to Arsenal would improve Ivan Toney's game as much as Ivan Toney would improve Arsenal.
I want to be there with you, and I think that would be true. But Havertz is supposed to have that same kind of. He's supposed to.
Hey, we're not talking about Havertz right now.
It does, but it's the same thing. So I like if we have chances to go and get the best, go get the best. But
Gary,
as Keith Gilligan said, right, Alvarez is the backup striker to Haaland, but Pep is actually making them work together, and it is reaping dividends, right?
Let me ask both of you a question then. If Havertz was playing in the striker position for all of the minutes this season, would he have scored goals by now?
I'd be surprised if he didn't. It just
See,
I would be surprised if he didn't. If he's
Kai
paid,
Havertz.
yeah, he's paid so many minutes. It's ridiculous. I mean, like I said, yeah, he
Um,
should. He should. Should I mean?
I,
He's
I I think Ollie Watkins is equal to a Gabriel Jesus in terms of the goals he's going to give you.
Yeah, if we're talking tiers again, he's in the same tier, right?
no, but you guys you keep saying tiers and then you keep talking only about goals, and then Jesus gives you a lot more.
Yeah,
than
he's
that.
a striker. We're talking about
So,
strikers.
Yeah, but not the way Arteta uses him. So that's the problem. So either you use Jesus a certain way, you use
Don't-
Tony a different way.
Yeah,
They're
don't
not.
let Arteta cloud your judgments.
No. It is what it is. Jesus plays a totally different style of striker than
Yeah.
Tony, than Osman, than Haaland. Right? He plays a totally different situation. Right?
Mhm.
Whoever
It's a
comes
different
in, would
style.
have to.
Couple of
So-
questions
Whoever
here.
comes in would either have to have the quality, or they have to be prepared to learn that quality that Jesus has about having. It's kind of like a free role, isn't it? He's not wedded to any one place on the pitch, but he always manages to still get himself in the box for goal scoring opportunities. He's just poor at finishing them. So whoever comes in, they need to be able to not just be able to be hanging around in the penalty box or at the top of the pitch waiting for goal scoring opportunities. They've also got to help in the build up and the defensive side. And if that player is out there, that's all we need. And as I said, if Gabriel Jesus could improve his finishing, he would be the finished article for Arsenal because he's doing everything else.
I thought that goal against Man United told me he had more composure this season.
Yeah.
He misses that golden
You know the
chance.
difference. You know the
against
difference.
Tottenham.
Look at the difference. What's the difference between those goals, that goal, and what the goals he's missing? What's the difference?
Composure.
He had a lot of time and a lot of space to do everything he wanted. When he's in the middle of like a mess with tall giants, goalkeepers, and people flying in from all different directions, and he doesn't have much
But
time.
that's composure.
Yeah, no, but I'm saying
You
that's the
know?
difference. So when you can't look at that United goal and go, well, now okay, maybe he's got it. No, because that's probably more in his wheelhouse based on what we saw. Because you know what I mean. Consistently, we see him do those types of things
But
when he's got space out there and
why
a run
couldn't
at a
he?
goalkeeper.
Why couldn't he do the same thing against Tottenham?
It's not the same thing.
It is the same thing. You're in front of
is-
goal. You
No,
apply the same.
How far did he
composure.
run with that ball? How far did he take that ball in? To
Quite
the
a
bo-
bit.
He was
So
at well
from
outside
halfway.
the box,
Yeah.
right? So it's a totally different style of attack that he has there, and you see what happens when he's not preparing himself to score goals. I think it's like it's a mental thing with a lot of players, not just
And
Arsenal.
maybe
But they don't know where the goal is. So when the
Right.
ball comes in, they're still thinking about where to put the ball. That's why they always trap it and get an extra touch. As
And maybe
opposed
it
to
was
just
an
take it one time.
instinctive thing as well. Maybe Gary. Questions are coming thick and fast. So let's. Tiger and Gunnar saying, when does Partey come back? I think he should be coming back soon.
I think he's not coming back until after. He always misses the City match, so he'll come back after the City match, and and I think the City match is right before the international break. So hopefully he comes back. Hopefully he's not healthy just for the international break. You know.
We have four. We have to win 4 games. I mean, I think there'll be a 2-legged semi-final in the Carabao Cup. But if we win 4 legs or 4 ties over the teams, we win the Carabao Cup. Now, is the expectation for Arteta to win the Carabao Cup now that City's out, Gary?
To win everything, we have to. You can't be picky about when you're gonna win. No, you try to win everything. You know why? Because it breeds winning.
Yes,
so there's no like, well, I'm going to take this game. We take games off to see what happened last
Wrong
season.
question to ask Gary.
No, we're going to take off. We're going to take off a Carabao Cup game because what? Because we are bigger than the Carabao Cup? No, we won
Gary,
nothing
you're
last
not
year.
good with these questions because you want to win every game.
Everybody should want to win every game. What's the point of playing? Are you happy when we lose any game?
No.
Exactly. So you want to be happy every game.
So
all right.
I
So
do.
that means we would have to win every game.
My
That's the plan.
expectation.
And we have you know what? We have an opportunity to win every game we play. You know, certain things out of your control don't happen, But in reality, every time you step on the pitch, you have an opportunity to win.
I
And if
like
players believe that, then they'll play much better. They'll play more comfortable out there. Because you know what, losing is part of it, but you got to no. We're not taking games off.
if you want to get Gary
Sounds
moving,
like somebody's been watching Any Given Sunday again recently.
No. You got to win every game.
Think about this. If we're not playing Carabao Cup games, we're not going to see Reece Nelson score. We're not going to see Tomiyasu play the way he did. We're not going to see Jorginho redeem himself. We're not going to see Tomiyasu go out there and play pretty well. Ramsdale look like he's back to his old self. I mean, all these things happen when you have extra games to play for the players that you want to depend on later. Remember this: we need to depend on everybody, and they need minutes. And we're not right now. The way Arteta is working, he's not giving them minutes in the Premier League, and he needs to. But this hopefully will. He's not giving it. He's not giving them minutes. He isn't.
Tomiyasu is not.
Trossard, we were begging and pleading to get him in
All
there,
right.
and he puts him in there and plays him in the wrong position. So now I'm not having it.
Right. You're not having it. I like the name Jude Jellingham. I will say as well before I go to Stan, there's an expectation on the squad as well. I don't know why you have to say an expectation for Arteta to win the Carabao Cup. Arteta's not going to get on the field and play, but he's got to do his part, and it's got to be down to the players as well. We've seen the players selected yesterday against Brentford getting that win. Stan, is there an expectation for Arteta and Arsenal to win the Carabao now? You got Liverpool, you got Man United in there.
Well, we've been asked to trust the process, haven't we? And we have been since he's been there. So we need to start seeing the rewards, the payoff.
Yeah.
You know, he's been totally backed by the owners. He's been given every toy that he's wanted. Money hasn't been any problems. He's been able to, if he doesn't want somebody in his team, he's been able to get rid of them and eventually try and get him out of the club. So he's had everything that he needs or any manager would want to have in that situation. But as I mentioned, you know, he asked us to trust the process. We've been doing that. But there comes a time where you need to start seeing something tangible.
Yeah.
You can't be constantly being told, it's going to come, it's going to come. Just wait, it's going to come, it's going to come. At some point, you need to start seeing
this season. The window of success for these young players that have come through, Bukayo Saka, Martinelli, Ødegaard, this team that we've assembled, the window is here this season to start winning trophies.
Maybe I'm being a bit harsh. I mean, he did, you know, he's taking steps in the right direction, right? He's got us back into the Champions League. And at the beginning of last season, you know, a lot of us were saying that, well, you know, the minimum requirement is finishing fourth. And he surpassed that by finishing second.
Mm-hmm.
But in doing that, he's raised the level of expectation for himself. He's raised the bar higher now.
I put out there on the Twitter, and I still stand by it. Everybody's expecting certain big things from Arsenal, and I'm saying if we want to continue to grow and get better as a squad, we need to be able to compete in all four of the fronts that we're going to go up against. And for me, I'm okay with this if we finish top 3 in the league. We make it out of the group in Champions League. We hit a semi or a final in one of the domestic cups. The trophy is a bonus, right? So, but think about it. If we're competing on all 4 fronts, which that would show, because we've never played in the Champions League under Arteta. So if he gets out of the group, that's really good, right? Some people are saying he has to go into the quarters. I'm just saying if you're able to compete on all 4 fronts, what that shows to me that we have a bigger squad that we can now, as we get better, when maybe we do bring in Osman, we're winning trophies for a longer time than just like 1 year, you know, or freak situation when we get knocked out of these extra cups with these extra games, and then we say, you know, we do what we did last season. I think we need to compete on all fronts because we need to have a full squad. The only way we do that is if we're competing on all 4 fronts, because all those guys should be hungry. And I think that's what City was doing. All those guys that played in those cup matches that got them to the finals, they were hungry to play. And they actually saw something out of them, and they actually used them in other ways when they got into injuries. And that's what Arteta needs to do. That's why I say we need to compete on all 4 fronts for this to be a success. We
Yeah.
get knocked out of one, we'll be back in the same boat we were last season, less games, and then you look at these players that are just not on, and then we ask the players on the bench to come on and perform, and they can't. So I say, you know what? Give everybody a chance to fight for something, right? The starters are fighting for
Yeah,
Champions
let's
League
do it.
and the league, and the squad players are fighting for the domestic cups because those are the games they get.
Mhm.
Everybody gets a chance to fight for something. So that's just
Stan,
my thinking.
yeah, for sure, Gary. Stan, Ivan Toney gave Saliba probably his hardest game last season. So there could be the possibility that Ivan Toney could step to that level and through the tiers that you were talking about.
I'm not, as I say, I'm not saying I wouldn't want him as part of our squad, but but as you're nailed on starter each week, I think there are a group of players that play in that position which are in the tier above Ivan Toney, and I think that we're in a position now, or a status now, that's the shop we should be shopping in.
Go and get him. Okay.
In that area, we should be shopping
Yeah.
there. We can afford to do it now. We've shown that we have. So I don't want to buy sort of like going, we'll get the all right one instead of going for the good one. I feel that we're kind of like, that's a backward step.
We've done it.
Be gone now. We've done that so many times in the past.
Right. And we've arguably done it at the goalkeeper position with David Raya.
Exactly.
Arguably, we've done that with David Raya.
You think you take a step back with him? Some people say he's better than Ramsdale.
But
no,
it's the intent, right?
I'm saying we have gone a step above.
Okay, sorry. Right.
And if we can do that with the goalkeeper, I'd like us to do the same thing again with a number of positions.
Every position. If I told you could go out there and get the best right wing, would you say no? No, you go and get the best right wing because Saka can play elsewhere. We know this. So if he has to, and you can go out there and get the best one in the world, you go get him if you have an opportunity, and that's what you want to do.
It's funny you say that, right?
If you think you can improve, if you think you can improve on Ramsdale, you can improve on any position because we always thought those ones were solidified, right? Who's this bald guy? Who are they talking about?
Mossy's coming after you, Stan. Alvarez is backup striker to Haaland, but Pep makes them play. They do play together.
But can I just say though, in what Gary was saying, I saw somebody put out a video where they were going around interviewing Arsenal supporters, and they were asking them the question: if there was an opportunity to bring in Kylian Mbappe, but it mean that Saka would have to make way, what would you feel about that? And I think all of them, except for one, said no. There's no way would we want. I mean, everyone's entitled to their opinion, but as you keep saying, there's levels to this game. And as much as I love someone like Bukayo Saka, if you've got an opportunity to get in, a generational talent, then it's got to be considered, right? For the footballing side of it, yes, there's questions about maybe what his personality might be like, but just for the footballing side of it, I mean, it's a no-brainer.
That's like saying no, you shouldn't bring in Haaland because he's like, you see how he is sometimes. It's like maybe that attitude doesn't work for you. It's like, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? He smiles at you as he knocks you over, but he scores all the damn time. He's really good. You know what I mean? So if you can improve, you improve. He's showing he cannot be ruthless in one position and not in another. If this thing's going to work, you know what I mean? If you have an opportunity, like you said, to go out and get the best player, and it just happens to be like Erdegaard's position, you go get it, right? If the next KDB is actually out there and is closer and ready to go, you go get him because you just showed
we got him
that you would do that, right?
Yeah,
you would do that. So he needs to be consistent in that thought that what, there are players out there that do we have the best players in the world on our team? Or like who's the best player in the world in that position on our team right now?
Saliba.
Best player. So he's the best one. He's the best center back. Erdegaard's the best. What is it? What does Erdegaard do? Is he a creative guy?
Yeah.
What is he? A holding guy? Because if he's creative, then where are his assists?
He's creative attacking midfielder. He attacks. Yeah, but you could say, where is Kevin De Bruyne's goals? You could have said that last season.
Yeah, but
where's the goals from Kevin De Bruyne?
We saw it firsthand. Goals from Kevin De Bruyne made a mistake right in front of him, and he showed you
We
what
saw
he can
one,
do. Right?
two actually, thanks to
Yeah.
Tommy Yasu.
Well, I'm just saying you see it from him, but I think why there's a difference is because there is an influence on the game that's more apparent to us
And we have strikers who
with De
are
Bruyne. So
inefficient as well. We have strikers who are inefficient. So at some point in time, I think Erdegaard said to himself, "F this, I'm shooting. I'm not
I
passing
want him to
anymore."
shoot more if he's not gonna if there's not a lot of times he doesn't even make the pass. So if
Yeah.
he's not gonna make the pass and take the
Um,
damn shot,
I kind of class Ivan Toney's pretty good on the ground as well, so I wouldn't just call him a plan B. Um, he's really good on the ground and holding the
And you know
ball up.
what? Think about this, Stan. You might be able to do a switch, a Rui, right? You might be able to say, you know what?
What's the
Here's
switch?
Nketiah plus a couple of
Eddie.
bucks,
Yeah.
and we're gonna take
Love a
Tony
swap,
off your
man.
hand, all right?
Stan loves a swap.
You might save even more money on Tony, and then you can use that to buy whatever we need. You know,
If I was Brentford, though, I'd be like, well, why would I want to weaken myself so much?
they're
I
not
would
playing
rather
with him.
take
They're not
I'd
playing with
rather
Tony
take the
now, and he's
money
gonna be
and
gone.
get someone fresh.
Yeah.
And yeah, my terminology wasn't correct. I'm not saying that Saka isn't going to become a generational talent, but in the standing of the game right now, there is a difference between him and Kylian Mbappe. And obviously, if there was a way to have both of them in the same team, that'd be even better. But you get the point that I was making.
Yeah. Jonathan David instead of
It's more
Havertz.
about being sentimental, is I think the point I was making.
I got what you were saying. He is the star boy, and that's what people feel about Bukayo Saka. At some point, he's got to get away from fullbacks as well. But do you think Mbappe would get fouled as much playing for Arsenal in that position? You know the way like we think of Bukayo Saka, and he's coming back towards Ben White to get the ball, and he's getting chopped. He's getting chopped.
I think if they came at Mbappe the same way they came at Saka, he'd just get away from them, and then make them look silly because that's what the level of player he is. So they would try, but they wouldn't. He would. This is the thing. I think he's thinking moves ahead sometimes, so he'll get away from that and won't get stuck in and get knocked down by a player. You know what I mean? And I think Saka, you see it all the time. He gets the ball, there's one defender on him, and then for some reason he waits for the second defender to show up. Then he cuts inside every time. Instead of just going, I'm taking you one-on-one. Either you're bringing me down or I'm getting by you. You know what I mean? That's like we see. Like if we take Martinelli's speed and we put it in Saka, he would be deadly. You know what I mean? Because that's what we want from that side as well. And usually he's got 2 and 3 players looking at him. But if he's able to get past that first guy, they're in trouble.
Inverted wingers.
So now they've broken down. They've broken down their defense. So
we have inverted wingers and inverted fullbacks. Yeah, but look, that's the Carabao Cup. I think we play West Ham away from home next, and that's going to be a tricky one. He has no flair, but no finishing is very annoying to watch, knowing he can put it all together and be lethal. I think we're talking about Jesus there. I was wondering about one area, and it ended up being Sago. That was cool. Yeah.
Yeah, I think he was injured. That's why he didn't. I didn't even think he didn't even get a chance to get a shirt.
Brighton out, City out, Spuds out. Ange put a team out that wasn't good enough to get through, and this was probably one of the best chances for that team to go and get a cup. You know what I mean? Stan, let's look back a little bit now to the North London derby. I just want to tie up a few loose ends on that one. And what are your thoughts on that North London derby before we get into the Bournemouth game? And we'll get out of here then.
I think the best way to measure it is that, after that game, I think the Tottenham, if you look at the Tottenham supporter side, they're like all fist pumping, almost like they won the game. A drawing at Arsenal was a big victory, and they all left smiling and happy. Whereas if you look at Arsenal, I think it's almost considered like we lost the game. the way that the reaction to it. It's not like okay, we got a point out of it. We drew with the enemy. It feels like a game that was lost, 2 points dropped. Whereas Tottenham, for them, it's probably a point earned. So it's just a different perspective of where both teams are and how do you view the result. And almost a week later, I feel exactly the same.
Yeah, I do too. I mean, I think I put a tweet out earlier in the week. 9 times out of 10, we would have won that game, Gary, and maybe even more than 9 times out of 10. Maybe I'm being generous.
Yeah, I mean it's the squad you put out there and the mentality of the players and stuff. We know every time we score, we always seem to let up a little bit, and we saw that at least twice in the game where we just weren't like trying to like control the game like we usually do and take the first goal and make sure the team gets nothing. So no, I think to some degree we played really poorly and they took advantage of it. They took advantage of us. If you're not going to clear the ball out of the box, you're going to get punished for it. If you fall asleep right in the midfield, you're going to get punished for it, and that's what we did.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Do we have the best?
Jude said earlier that Haaland wasn't the best player till he came to City. I think he had.
Haaland is definitely one of the best strikers coming in out there long before he got here.
Dortmund, he was a hell of a good player as well.
In the Champions League before he went to City.
I mean, he just didn't have the players around him to do that. Do we have the best players? Do we have the best players? Excuse Haaland, Rodri, and Kevin De Bruyne were not the best till they came to City. Pep didn't buy them when they were world class. Haaland was pretty much the finished article when they bought him. Rodri, he's developed Rodri. Kevin De Bruyne has stepped up since he came to City. So a bit of a mixed bag there. Pep did some work with some of them. Some were I still don't think Haaland's a world-class player. I think he's a great finisher.
All he does is just score 50. He just scores 50 goals in seasons.
I don't think he's a great footballer.
He's not good at football. He scores goals. One of the most important things a team would like you to do for them. Can you score goals for us? Yes. Yeah. But you know what? You're not that good at this thing. But you do score.
One question, Gary.
You're a goalkeeper. You make all these fabulous saves and stuff. Keep the ball out.
Who's the better player, Haaland or Mbappe for you? It's different. They have different qualities, right?
Different qualities for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. So
no,
that's fine. Haaland's going to score a lot of goals, but he's not going to have a lot of touches.
So you're actually making it more difficult for him, but he's still doing scoring. Okay. That's what you just did. You said, he doesn't get that many touches, but every time he does get a touch, he's more likely to score with it.
He's getting on the ends of things.
That's and he's scoring more than most people in the league and most people in world football.
His first touch is not brilliant, in my opinion. His first touch.
Oh, you mean because he keeps going in the goal? You're used to players taking an extra touch where they don't score. You're getting a little jaded. No, the guy when he touches it one time, it scores. Okay. You watch the games. When he scores goals, it's not like he's taking extra touches. He usually just puts it in the goal. Every time I watch him play, I never go, "Oh, he took an extra touch there." That barely ever happens.
Yeah, in general play, he's not.
Man touches like 5 times, scores 3 goals. Ray's like, guess what? He only had 5 touches in the game.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm not winning this one. I know what I'm not winning an argument. Yeah, Spencer's right. We're on pace for 65 goals this year, 20 goal drop off. Against Tottenham at the weekend, Jesus misses a chance, a really good chance to score a goal, and Jorginho basically gives the ball away. That's the difference for me in the whole game. But it's not that.
It's the fact that we can easily score 3 goals on any team, and we're not even getting close to 3 goals on a regular basis. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We can score 3 goals in every game. I have no doubt about that. We're just not doing it. We scored 3 goals once now. Once in 8 games. It's not good. We're a much better team than that.
Moss said last season it was our most goals ever, I believe. I actually have it here. We scored 88 goals last season.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. So Gary is the guy with the cap. I'm right, and that is Stan down there as well.
Somebody is asking who we are.
No, this is the questions are Jude. Jude is new, so he's trying to
Yeah.
figure out who we are. You know what I mean?
Oh,
Who we are, who we represent, and who we stand for. But welcome, Jude. Yeah. So listen, freaking Madison turns up and he makes two good goal contributions. I still kind of standing by what I said with Saliba. He should have stopped Son from getting the ball, let Madison through on the goalkeeper. Chances would have been, the percentages would have been slightly more in our favor. But yeah,
it starts with one. People will say the punch from Raya. He doesn't put in a better. He doesn't push it over the goal. He doesn't clear it out of the box. And then
yeah,
I think Rice had a chance to clear it, or Ben White, one of the two, and they didn't clear it far enough. Saka left, let Madison get to the goal line. Ben White comes out late. Gabriel Magalhaes, I said this before. Gabriel Magalhaes loses Son,
yeah.
and Rice and whoever it was weren't able to close in the pass that came through. I mean, we had more than enough opportunities. One player needed to stand up and make a play. Like, you bump into Son, he never gets there. You know what I mean? If Gabriel gets in his way, everything slows down. Our defenders close it up, and you don't even see it. You know what I mean? But they don't, and we pay for it. You know, so it's not just one player in that defensive scenario. There were many players that had a chance to make a play. We didn't do it.
Stan, Ramsdale or Raya for Bournemouth? Go back to Raya.
Well, he's our number one goalkeeper, isn't he?
Yep.
Looks like Ramsdale's playing in the Carabao Cups and stuff like that. I mean, it's going to be interesting to see how the manager plays it. Are we going to see rotation in the league?
Yes.
Or are they just going to
Good
be? You know,
question.
are we going to see substitutions of goalkeepers? Because Mikel said that's very well possible.
Could happen.
He's
Yeah, we have.
It's very hard to predict, isn't it, with this manager on certain things like team lineups and things like that, because he seems to change his mind about things quite quickly and have his own ideas, which seem to be sometimes a little bit out of the box.
Yeah, we've had Ramsdale play last night. We have Bournemouth, we have Champions League, we have Man City, Gary. So does Ramsdale get another game in these next 3 games?
Well, it depends on if we have a number one goalkeeper or not. And if we do, then let's just go ahead and play
It's
the
so
number one
difficult.
goalkeeper. Like, I mean, I think Reyes should play because, well, if he doesn't play, then what? You know, I think he should play if that's where you want to go. I don't care where he goes; just pick one and move on. You know, if Ramsdale is your domestic cup guy and your backup in a pinch, yes. So I find it, like you said, you go out and get Raya, and then your thought process is, oh no, we made a mistake. Then you didn't do a good enough research, and you just wasted some money. But if he's coming in to take the spot, you give him the chance, right? I mean, you give him the chance. So I think it should be Raya to play out the next 3 matches that we have, go into the international break, and then you think about it again.
Does the international break come after the City game?
Yep.
So that it's going to be all the more important to get a positive result. We don't want to go away for 2 weeks with something not feeling good about that game. You know what I mean?
Yep.
All right, Stan, we're going to wrap this up pretty soon. Get you out of here because you are taking a few days off. But what do you think about the Bournemouth game going into the weekend on Saturday?
Is it home or away?
Away from home. The next 2 games will be away from home.
Well, we don't lose away games. We just said that, didn't we? We just talked about it. We don't lose away games. We talked about that. So
that's it. 1-0 clean sheet. It's going to look very comfortable, and somebody's going to score a goal for us. That's it. That's all she wrote. It's over. Yeah, we're pretty good away from home, Bournemouth. So yeah, I'll take that 1-0 going into the French game, Champions League.
You think 1-0 against Bournemouth?
3
Come
points, isn't
on.
it?
We're gonna put our starters in, right? I mean,
But
come on.
we're ready for
How
chances.
bad? How bad are we? You think
Cheers, dude.
one
Stick with us.
1-0 against Bournemouth? Come on, dude. We're better than this, right?
That's the four. Gary, we played 3 games away from home. They've all been 1-0
I
victories.
know, but we're better than that, aren't we?
Yes.
Aren't we?
Yes.
I mean, come on. Like at some point, we need to show that we are a better team than a 1-0 on the road against a team at the bottom of the table. You know what I mean? Bournemouth is sitting right on 17th right now.
Yeah.
They've scored 5 goals, and how many have we scored? 11. Right. So I think we should be able to score more than 1 goal on Bournemouth, no matter where it is. So yeah, I would take that as that would be really poor of us not to be able to score more than 1 goal. And that's been said. That's true of every other game where we haven't scored 2 goals. You know what I mean? So
Shout out
yeah.
to Stefan Ipswich Progress. They're in the draw for the Carabao Cup next round as well against Fulham. So they've got a good chance to progress into the quarterfinals of the Carabao Cup. What are you saying, Stan? Better than 1-0. We can push it to a 2-0. We should really be going to Bournemouth and maybe playing some of these players that with an eye on the Man City game. Get into a rhythm now.
Yeah, I just think it's very important that we become more efficient. As I say, we sort of like circle back to what we said at the beginning, that we're not being efficient enough. We're creating plenty of chances, but for whatever reason, we're just not able to get the ball in the back enough as many times as we should be able to. You know, maybe a game like Bournemouth will help. You know, a bit of shooting practice, hopefully.
Yeah,
and help us bring up our goal difference.
Indeed, Moss. Liverpool got Bournemouth away as well in their draw.
We needed a performance like Newcastle had just recently. We need one on that. We need a big performance of
8-0.
6, 7, 8 goals. You know.
Yeah, that would be something, right?
If Newcastle can score 8
Eddie.
goals on who did Newcastle just score 8 goals on?
Sheffield United.
All right, so I think we should be able to score at least 3 goals on Bournemouth.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. If we've got to like I said to Gary earlier in the stream, Stan. I think this could be our bad period. Like we've had injuries. We're not scoring. We're not being efficient with our chances. We're not taking our chances. Maybe Gabriel Jesus is not being composed enough in front of goal because he is quite instinctive. We have to improve at this point because we're gonna face Man City, where every percentage is going to be important in our favor. You know.
Yeah, I agree.
All right. We should leave it there. Unless you have anything else to add, we'll get out of here. Thanks everybody for watching. Arsenal, we're unbeaten. We're unbeaten this season. Doesn't feel like it, but we are unbeaten. So enjoy it. Let's go into this Bournemouth game. Get a win.
There are levels to this.
There are levels to this. So play the outro, and then we're out of here. Thanks, Stan. Thanks, Gary. Take care.
Thank you, everyone in the chat.
Come on, you Gooners.